So today we're going to talk about place value. Where does place value come from? Well, the base 10 number system, which is what we use, each digit is in a specific place. And in that place, it has a specific value. And that's where place value comes from. Every digit, as you move to the left, is 10 times greater than the digit that was to the right. The place value is 10 times greater. So where did the base 10 come from? Well, it came from the Arabic numeral system because there's 10 symbols. That's really all there is to it. That's why there's base 10. There's 10 symbols, and so that's what we use. Now, I said that as they move to the right, the digits have a 10 times greater value. Well, we start with 1, and as we add in 0, it now becomes 10. So the 1 is shoved to the left, and you see it becomes 10. We add another 0, it becomes 100. We add another 0, it becomes 1,000, and so on. And so 10 is 10 times bigger than 1. 100 is 10 times bigger than 10, and so on, all the way down, and you could keep going on forever. But there's no need to do that. I think you get the idea. So we can also think of this in terms of a visual picture about blocks when Lego blocks or just square blocks. One single block is equivalent to the ones digit. Once you have 10 of those blocks, you can't leave them in the ones digit. You have to move them to the tens, and they become one group of 10. Once you have 10 groups of 10, you move it over, and you now have one group of 100. Standard notation. This is what a special name that's given, well, I say special, it's the name that mathematicians have given to basically any number that we normally would write out in this way. So 25, 5, 110, doesn't matter the number or the size. When it's written in this way, it's standard notation. So to find the place value of any number, we can use the place value chart. So I'm going to show you what it looks like. All right, so here we have a place value chart. Now you could go on, you could add past the billions, but we're not going to get into numbers that large because there's no point. We don't need to. But it's like this. We start with the ones or units. You can use it interchangeably. The thousands, the millions, the billions, and so on. So how do we write this? Let's say we want to know what is the value of the 2. So rather than try and figure out where it is in the place value chart, we're just going to go ahead and start at the right and fill it in. So we know that this 8 is in the units position, or the ones, and the 6 goes in the tens spot, and the 3 is in the hundreds, and so on. So we have the 4, the 2, and the 5. Now, it's very easy to see that the 2 is in the tens of thousands. The 5 is in the hundreds of thousands. The 4 is in the thousands. The 3 is in the hundreds, the 6 in the tens, and the 8 in the units. So these labels that are above here, those help you to know what you're looking at. 100,000, 10,000, and just the thousands. Okay, expanded form is it's simply a way to express the value of each digit. So we're pulling it apart. So if you have a 3, it's like $3, you have 3 ones. Well, 45, how many ones do you have? How many tens do you have? We have 4 tens, and we have 5 units. 235, you have 2 hundreds, 3 tens, and 5 units. And you can do any number, any size in that same way. You can write it out. Now, if we don't want to use words and we just want to use numbers, we would take 235, for instance. We would write it like 200 plus 30 plus 5. So this is using words, this is using just numbers. Okay, so 56 in expanded notation, we're going to do just a little practice so that we can feel comfortable with this. So there's only 2. If you need to use the place value chart, feel free to do that. We have 50 and we have 6. So 50 plus 6, we have the units, we have the tens. So here's a number slightly larger, but still not a problem, 5,673. So we have 5,000 plus 600 plus 70 plus 3. We're simply pulling it apart. Again, if you need to use the place value chart, feel free to use it as long as you need to. That's what it's there for. Okay, so here we have this big number, and it's just there to try and scare you, but there's nothing scary about it. I'm going to go ahead and use the place value chart so that we can make sure we don't lose any of our digits or forget or scramble around it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fill out 2, 3, 5. That's my first 3. Then 1, 8, 6. Again, you can cancel them out as you go, however you need to do it. And then I'm going to do 9, 4, 7, and a 3. So we have 3,947,681,532. So that's a really big number, but the place value chart really helps to simplify it. So the expanded form of this number, again, we're pulling the numbers apart so that each digit, we're stating its value. And we just did that using the place value chart. Now we're just going to write it in numbers. So here's the 3 billion. This is the 900 million. 40 million plus 7 million plus 600,000 plus 80,000 plus 1,000 plus 500 plus 30 plus 2. And that's a mouthful. So we read this number as 3,947,681,532. So these pluses are kind of like your pause when you're saying the numbers. And that's our lesson on place value.